It's time to address these claims of learn German in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or 6 days? Really? 6 days? You are never done learning a language. I've been learning English since birth, and I'm still learning new words and phrases all of the time. I've only been speaking German for 18 years. I am nowhere near perfect, and I won't be anytime soon. I haven't finished learning English, my native language. Why would I ever think that I have finished learning German? We need a paradigm shift in the way that we think about language learning. Stop thinking in terms of A1, A2, B1, B2, and figuring out what's on the exam for each level. Think instead, what do you want to do with this language? And how can I get from the point where I am now to where I can do X, Y, or Z? Sure, there are some general things that you need to know no matter what your goals are. But if the goal is always figuring out what is on some exam and working towards that as a goal, frustrations will run high and you will suffer from burnout in no time. Ask yourself, what do I want to do with this language? And don't answer, pass the B1 exam or get into a German university. These are bad goals. Let me explain. First of all, the goals that I just mentioned are okay to have as end goals, but you're missing a ton of steps in between. If you're just starting to learn German and your goal is to pass the B1 exam, when you reach that intermediate plateau, you're going to struggle to be motivated by that goal, as you won't see the progress that you want to see. You probably are making progress, but you just can't see it because your goal is too far away. This is why I recommend that you don't just set one goal. Set an end goal, sure, but make as many small goals in between where you are now and where you want to be so that you can see that progress as you work towards your goal. If you can't reach a goal by the end of the week, I would say that your goals are too far apart and you need to find what steps can be taken in between the steps that you already have. Recently, I stumbled upon the idea of SMART goals. The concept really aligns well with my own personal views of language learning and also the reason that goals like passing the B1 exam are, in my opinion, bad goals. I'm going to use the concept of SMART goals to teach you how to really set language goals, how to work towards those goals, and how to actually attain them. The S in SMART goals traditionally stands for specific, but it's also been labeled as simple, sensible, and significant. I would argue that your language learning goals should be all of the above. First and foremost, your goal should be specific. I want to be able to converse with any German native speaker I meet on any topic that could possibly come up. This isn't specific enough. It's a great overall goal, but it isn't a SMART goal. To me, the word specific is perfect for reminding you exactly how small each stepping stone goal should be. Let's keep the example of being able to speak with any native speaker on any topic. One of the steps along the way would have to be, I want to be able to order food in a German restaurant. This is a goal that is specific and simple. It also is sensible, as you will very likely have to converse with this at some point. To me, this is also a significant conversation too. It's a great feeling the first time that you order food in German using the skills that you just learned. Ask yourself this series of questions in order to find goals that are specific, simple, sensible, and significant. What do I want to be able to do? Are there steps that I need to complete before this goal can be met? If so, you need to add an extra goal in between those first couple of steps. Why is this goal important to me? Will I actually use those things that I learn on my way to this goal? Next up is the letter M for measurable, or sometimes it's labeled as meaningful or motivating. I would again argue that this must be all three. First, it must be measurable. How will you know that you have accomplished this goal? What boxes do you need to check in order to consider this goal met? It must be a meaningful goal. Does your goal have a purpose? Is there a real, tangible reason why you're making this goal? It must be motivating. Why do you want to do this? Will this make you proud of yourself if you can accomplish this goal? These questions are great for crafting measurable, meaningful, and motivating goals. The bottom line is this: how will you know that you have accomplished your goal? If you can't answer that one question, you need to rework your goal to make it answer that question. The next letter is A, and it stands for achievable or attainable. This one is pretty easy to conceptualize, but it's often difficult to actually create a goal with this component. Is it achievable? Can you actually ever do the thing that you want to do? Sure, you can become completely fluent in German and never have to consult a dictionary during any conversation about any topic. But as I just mentioned before, having such a grandiose goal leaves too much time in between milestones, which can lead to problems. I would combine this component with the letter T in SMART goals, which I'll explain in more detail later. This is all about time. Is it achievable? Yes. Can you do it in a short time span? Probably not. If you can't combine those two ideas, you need to change your goal. In addition to the time constraints, you should also consider other factors that might hinder your ability to reach your goals. Do you have a job? If you're working 10 hours a day, studying German for 10 hours a day just isn't going to work. Are there financial constraints to consider? You can't afford to take lessons for $1,600 per month, so planning your goals around this would definitely be problematic. The R in SMART goals stands for relevant. The essential question is this even worth trying to achieve this goal? Since you are already making smaller goals that are targeting a bigger overall goal, this boils down to one question. Do you need this topic in order to communicate? Do you need vocabulary for astrophysics? Probably not. I doubt that you are planning on discussing astrophysics in German anytime soon. This goal is not relevant. Also under the umbrella of relevant is the question of timing. Do you need to learn the Konjunktiv 2 in the first 2 weeks of learning German? No, definitely not. You need to build other building blocks first. So you need to rethink what steps you need in the order that you need them. Don't try to jump over steps in order to get to the finish sooner. This will only cause you problems in the long run. For example, if you ignore the genders of nouns when you're first learning German nouns, you will eventually have a ton of problems later on when you're trying to master the cases. Make sure that your goals are in a logical order. This does not mean, however, that the goals that you are setting have to be in some predetermined order. There is no official order of things that have to be learned in German. If you want to learn sports vocabulary before you learn school vocabulary because you're more likely to talk about sports than you are to talk about school, this is a logical order for you. A high school student might have a different order than you do, and that's okay. The last letter in our SMART goals is the letter T. This stands for time-bound, which is incredibly important for keeping yourself on track. First of all, you need to think about how long will it take you to realistically meet this goal. Then you need to make yourself a solid deadline. Don't let yourself get into the habit of moving a deadline back because something came up. You set a deadline for yourself and you need to stick to it. This is a very slippery slope that could lead to you just giving up on language learning entirely. Take the deadline seriously. Have you ever missed a step when going up a flight of stairs? If you do it more than once, that can spell disaster. Now we have all of the letters of our SMART goals, let's go back and look at what a real goal might look like. Specific. I want to learn to order food in a German restaurant. Measurable. I will write my own example dialogue using the knowledge that I gain in pursuit of this goal. Achievable. This is definitely doable. Relevant. I will definitely need this information while I'm in Germany as I plan to eat while there. Time-bound. I think I can achieve this goal by the end of the week. Really, all I need is a list of vocabulary around dining and some quick phrases to convey my needs. This is a good SMART goal. It has all of the components and it's small enough to be achieved in a short amount of time, which will keep you encouraged for the next goal that you have. Now let's go on to a bigger, more broad goal and narrow it down. Specific. I want to be able to speak German in any situation I might encounter while on vacation in Germany. Measurable. Think through the entire trip and anticipate all of the kinds of things that you might need to do. Navigating the airport, asking for directions, ordering food, talking to the airline staff, rescheduling flights, checking into a hotel, purchasing a ticket at a museum, booking a tour, public transportation, inside of the city and outside of it. And the list goes on and on. Make a detailed list of all of the milestones that you need to achieve in order to measure your overall success in pursuit of this main goal. Achievable. This is definitely achievable. Lots of people can speak German well enough to interact in all of these situations. Relevant. I'm doing this so that I can communicate while on vacation. I'd say that's pretty relevant to me. Time-bound. I've already booked my flights, so I have a deadline that I can't pass up. I know that my flight is in July, so I have about 6 months to learn enough German to make it through these conversations. With the measurable part of this goal, I would break the main goal into smaller SMART goals. Make a goal each week to learn a new topic. There will be a ton of little parts to put together, and in order to make this goal, you will need to have all of them mapped out in detail. Now for the challenge. What are your language learning goals? Write your own SMART language goals down in the comments below. Does your goal meet all of the criteria? If you want to reach the goal that I just mentioned of being able to navigate any conversation that might occur while vacationing in Germany, you might want to check out this playlist right over here, which teaches you a lot of the lessons that you'll need along the way, including checking into a hotel, ordering food in a German restaurant, and many, many more. Click this link and I'll see you in the next video. Das ist alles für heute. Danke fürs Zuschauen. Bis zum nächsten Mal. Tschüss!